Hello everybody, and today we're going to be talking about 3 LEGO minifigures that are roughly worth 2.2 billion US dollars. Let's get started. Alright guys, yes, it is true. These are the 3 most expensive LEGO minifigures to this day. Now, these were made back in 2011 for the JUNO spacecraft launch from NASA. Now, August 5th, 2011, the JUNO spacecraft was launched to basically go out to Jupiter and orbit Jupiter for research and development of all sorts of things. And the LEGO company was actually approached by NASA, and they intermingled and wanted to do something to promote educational studies for children in math and science and whatnot. And they came up with making these 3 minifigures made out of solid aluminum. These are actually CNC machined out of aluminum. And the really cool thing is they're right there up in space right now. Actually, just yesterday, the JUNO craft was, eventually there at Jupiter. So it is orbiting Jupiter right now. These 3 aluminum LEGO minifigures are in space orbiting Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system as of right now. And that is just awesome, first of all. Now, what is really cool and what is also kind of mysterious is there's actually supposedly another set of these out there. And there's also supposedly a 4th minifigure that was not sent up to space that NASA declined. Now, I'm reading an article here, and it is talking about how they had contacted a former LEGO employee that had worked on developing these figures with NASA, and here's a quote from him. He's saying, "Having been directly involved in the creation of these 3 figures, actually a 4th was made, but it got turned down by NASA. I am deeply honored to see them in the top 100 list of minifigures." Now, he also talked about how there's actually another pair of 3 figures exist as a backup, and they are indeed unique as the bolts of lightning in Jupiter's hand and the telescope in Jupiter's ball in Galileo's hand were specially made for this event. Now, another thing we can talk about here is starting from the left to the right, we have left, which is the Roman god of Jupiter, holding the lightning bolt with his beard. Then in the middle, we have his sister, Juno, with the magnifying glass. Now, I'm going to talk about what all these, the magnifying glass, the globe, and the lightning bolts, they have some symbolism to them. And then on the far right, we have the famous Galileo astronomer. And that's a really cool minifigure. I definitely like just the Galileo minifigure. I don't know too much about the other 2, but Galileo, a lot of you guys probably know who he is. And that's a very cool minifigure. So let's get into kind of the details and some of the symbolism as far as these minifigures go. Alright, so each figure has been customized to represent his or her special characteristics. Now, the far, left, Jupiter carries a lightning bolt. Then his sister Juno has a magnifying glass that represents her search for truth. And Galileo is carrying a telescope and a model of the planet Jupiter, which is really cool. It's just kind of a famous Galileo thing with the telescope and all. And now let's talk about why these minifigures are worth 2.2 billion US dollars. Now, once again, reading off an article from the minifigurepriceguide.com. All the links will be in the description if you want to do some more research. But first of all, each one of these costs about $5,000 each to make. So that means there's $15,000 worth of aluminum LEGO minifigures up in space right now. But you also got to factor in that it does cost a lot to send something up into space. I can't remember the exact amount, but it does cost something per pound or however, units they use. But let's round up to $20,000. So it costs $20,000 in aluminum and rocket fuel to get these up there. Now, this person did research on what it would cost to go to Jupiter, pick them up, and then, assuming that you can get in that spacecraft, get just the LEGO figures, and come back to Earth completely alive and completely safe with these figures, costs you about $2.2 billion to do that. Now, just the JUNO spacecraft alone, the project itself, was about $1.1 billion, which is kind of funny because it costs you about 2 times as much to get there and get these LEGO minifigures. So that's why these minifigures are so rare. But what's really interesting, like I talked about, is there's another backup set of these 3 minifigures somewhere. Now, I'm assuming they're in the LEGO vault, and I'm not really sure where else they'd be kept on display because that would just have a high risk of robbery, I feel like, with these being so rare. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know, out of these 3 minifigures, which one would you rather have the most? I prefer Galileo. Let me know in the comments down below. And what would you do if you were able to get a hold of these? Would you sell them? Would you tell people you have them? or do you hang on to them for a rainy day and cash in on your little investment? Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you check out my other top 3 and top 10 videos, link in the playlist above, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.